Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. I know I haven't been making any videos consistently for a very long time now, but like I always say, I've been saving my life, you guys, and I'm finally feeling better and moving around. So I wanted to bring you this. I think that this story is very, very important, and we should all listen to this and see what is happening to young, healthy people all around the world, but many, many more right here in the United States. So this is coming from the New York Post. A pro basketball player, 28-year-old pro basketball player who previously blamed COVID vaccine for a rare heart condition, dies of a heart attack. Professional Dominican basketball player Oscar Cabrera Adams died this week after an apparent heart attack while he was possibly undergoing a stress test. According to a social media post from Dominican sports commentator Hector Gomez, the 28-year-old's stress test was being performed at a health center in Santo Domingo. Cabrera Adams is believed to have suffered from myocarditis. And you guys, myocarditis is an inflammation of the heart muscle. Myo meaning muscle, myocard, that's your heart, and anything with itis at the end is inflammation. So myocarditis is an inflammation of the heart muscle. The disease can weaken the heart and its electrical system, which decreases the heart's ability to pump blood, according to the American Heart Association. Following his death, social media posts surfaced in which Cabrera Adams suggested he developed the rare heart disease after he received 2 doses of the jab. You guys know what I mean when I say the jab. This is a quote from him. "I got a damn myocarditis from taking a effing vaccine. I got 2 doses of Pfizer and I knew it. Many people warned me," Cabrera Adams wrote on social media. He also said the vaccine was a work requirement. But guess what? It was compulsory or I couldn't work. I am an international professional athlete and I'm playing in Spain. I have no health problem, nothing, not hereditary, no asthma, nothing. I suddenly collapsed to the ground in the middle of a match and almost died. I'm still recovering and I've had 11 different cardiology tests done, and guess, they find nothing. Cabrera Adams' collapse happened during a 2021 Spanish amateur basketball league game. He fainted during the game and was later transported to a hospital on a stretcher. According to the Mayo Clinic, a stress test is designed to show how the heart functions during physical activity. Medical personnel usually attach electrodes to the patient's chest. During the test, a machine then records the electrical activity of the heart. It remains unclear if the stress test was the direct cause of Cabrera Adams' heart attack. Cabrera Adams was the nephew of Hugo Cabrera, a Dominican Sports Hall of Famer. Cabrera Adams played basketball at Daytona State College in Florida. Let me not go there. So, you guys, this 28-year-old man dropped dead. And before he died, those were his exact words, that he believed his myocarditis came directly from the jab. And so I believe it because there are reports of many young men, teenagers, dropping dead at high school, young men, athletes, and regular people, 20s and 30s, teenagers, 20s, 30s, just dying suddenly of heart attacks or strokes. And I know people are going to think that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm not. If this continues to happen, I might want to start believing some things that I heard about population control. If this continues to happen, we may have to start believing that not all of these people who are saying this are crazy, because it is just ridiculous how many healthy young people are dying of strokes and heart attacks. All of a sudden, we've never ever, not in my lifetime, seen this many young people just dropping like flies everywhere. All of a sudden, who were never sick before. And I did the video about Jamie Foxx and what they were saying, that they were blaming the jab for his stroke. And I'm telling you, people, it could be true. Like, if you go back to that video, I talk about my experience after I got the first jab and how I couldn't have the second one for 6 months. I didn't want it in the first place. Just like that young man, Mr. Cabrera, was bullied into taking it, or he couldn't play. He couldn't do his job on the basketball court. So many of us were bullied into doing that. And I know lots of people in the medical field who were bullied, threatened with losing their jobs, doctors and nurses, if they didn't take it. So what can we do now? Well, I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical advice to anyone, but I started to have chest pain. I think I told you guys about this too. I just felt like something wasn't right. And you guys know that I go to dialysis, and I kept having blood clots that were clotting. My blood was super viscous, like really thick. So I started to take an 81 milligram low dose aspirin 3 days a week. I do it on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I'm feeling fine. I'm not having chest pain. My blood isn't thick and it's not thin. I'm not bleeding out anywhere. However, this is not medical advice. I'm just telling you from my experience what I did. If you are concerned about something like that, please go and see a cardiologist or go to the emergency room. Don't listen to our stories on these social media sites and take it as advice, because it's not. Our bodies are all so different, right? But this is a sad, sad story. A young 28-year-old life gone. It is just so sad. And you guys, I've had 3 stress tests. I've had 2 chemical stress tests where they inject you with a chemical or drug, and it speeds your heart up, and they get it to, the number that they needed it to be. Mine was at 150. They had to have my heart rate at 150. And then they give you something to bring it down. That is very uncomfortable. It makes you feel sick, but it's really quick and you recover fast. And the other one is where you get on a treadmill and they keep going up every 15 seconds on an incline until you reach what they need. And maybe that is what killed him. But he had myocarditis to begin with. So maybe that extra physical activity is what took him out. So you guys, I went to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control website, cdc.gov, and it says in clear letters, myocarditis and pericarditis after mRNA COVID-19 vaccination. They are investigating it. Myocarditis, as I said, is an inflammation of the heart muscle, and pericarditis is an inflammation of the outer lining of the heart. Our heart sits in kind of like a sac, like there's this thin lining around it, and that's the pericardium. And so when that is inflamed, it is pericarditis. This is coming from cdc.gov. In both cases, the body's immune system causes inflammation in response to an infection or some other trigger. Learn more about myocarditis and pericarditis. There's another site that I can click on to learn more about it. The symptoms are chest pain, shortness of breath, and feelings of having a fast beating, fluttering, or pounding heart. Myocarditis and pericarditis have rarely been reported. When reported, the cases have especially been in adolescents and young adult males within several days after mRNA COVID-19 vaccination, Pfizer, BioNTech, or Moderna. So it doesn't matter which one you get, they can both cause this in young men. More often after the second dose, usually within a week of vaccination. Most patients with myocarditis or pericarditis who received care responded well to medicine and rest and felt better quickly. Patients can usually return to their normal daily activities after their symptoms improve. Those who have been diagnosed with myocarditis, which is what Mr. Cabrera, 28-year-old Mr. Cabrera was diagnosed with, those who have been diagnosed with myocarditis should consult with their cardiologist, which is a heart doctor, about return to exercise or sports. So it also says seek medical care if you or your child have any of the specific or general symptoms of myocarditis or pericarditis, especially if it's within a week after the COVID-19 vaccination. Excuse me. So when he said that he got it from the jab, he was telling the truth. It's right there on the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, cdc.gov. Okay, you guys can go and read the entire thing and click on the other links that goes into more detail about all of this. So if you have a young son, or you're a young man listening to this and you've had both the first and second, just look out for symptoms. Know what the symptoms are and get to a medical professional, a doctor or a hospital if you start to feel those symptoms. It's not a joke, and don't ignore it. Look at what happened to this young man, and it's happening all over this country. It is a sad, sad thing to see. It is scary. It is heartbreaking. And many of us knew that they didn't know enough about this and that we were going to pay the price. I thank God that what happened to me after I had the first one went away. Every now and then I lose feeling in my hands, but I'm not falling down anymore. I'm walking normally. But if I sit too long or if I stand too long, if I'm not moving around, I do start to feel it in my feet, but I'm not falling down and hurting myself or anything. And, that is a small price to pay. That is a small consequence compared to this young man and all the other young people who have died suddenly from heart attacks or strokes after receiving the jab. It is truly heartbreaking, you guys. Like, I don't have children, but I couldn't imagine having a 28-year-old son who was out there living his dream and just all of a sudden dead. He still had so much life ahead of him. Had he not been bullied into taking the jab. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments.